The Club UK and Skip Barber Racing School Series heads himself to the majestic racetrack that is known only as Road America, set in Wisconsin, Elkhart Lake, where we guarantee there won't be a caution with 20 seconds remaining in the race. This one will go out the 4 in the corner all the way to the start-finish line. Coverage will be here next, only on RaceSpotTV.
It's time for those most famous words in motorsports. Drivers, start your engines!
Michael Conti comes up at a corner number 4, and the checkered flag, he wins his first NASCAR iRacing.
For the past week, all of the American motorsports coverage has been focused on the World Center of Racing, Daytona International Speedway, but the Daytona 500 is in the books, and that means it's time to finally move on. As we welcome you to coverage of the Skip Barber Racing School Championship for Club UK and Ireland here from the 4-mile racetrack that Robin Miller calls the greatest test of road racing in all of North American motorsports. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Will Vincent along with Rachel Whiteford here on RaceSpotTV. Qualifications are just underway. Drivers get themselves into their first timed lap. And Rachel, this is Elkhart Lake. We are in Wisconsin. We are at one of the very, very best racetracks, not only in North America, but in the world.
Good evening, Will. Absolutely. This is probably one of my favourite road courses, and Always a pleasure to be here with the UK and I Skip Barber Racing Series, because they never disappoint on this racetrack. We always get a frantic, furious finish, and it's going to be amazing tonight.
You can see Sebastian Job working himself on a qualifying lap, his first of the day. Now we know here, Rachel, that lap times are long, they are hard, and well, you can mess up a lap here in qualifications all the way down to that final corner, and this lap is about 2 minutes 30 in length, and that means momentum is a critical factor in qualifying. Can race time, oh, it's so important.
Certainly, and you put a foot wrong here, Will, as these guys get around their qualifying laps. Of course, that's speed scrub that you won't be able to make back along the length of the circuit, so absolutely critical you get this perfect. Of course, the first lap, tyres are still pretty cold, but with it being such a long lap, the temperatures are great for the second lap. And this race, we know it's a draft fest. It's going to be about keeping with the cars at the front to make your move at the end. Last time these guys came here, remember, we didn't know who was going to win the race exiting the final corner.
Of course, don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, we are counting down to the 2015 iRacing.com World Championship Grand Prix Series, which is here exclusively live only on RaceSpotTV. The first couple of drivers then work themselves towards the start finish line. They can see the lap times as they work themselves towards the start finish line. Sebastian Job will come past the start finish line, 2:33.156 for his first flying lap. He's pole position. Anthony Diaz sets a lap time. Mercer in second. Daniels can't go faster, waiting for these times to cycle through. Mercer ward slow, but Hamilton goes to the point there, Rachel.
He does. That friction racing machine getting straight to the front of the grid. Well, he's just come in about 500ths ahead as he loops it going on to his second lap, but holds on to that car. Hamilton doing a great time here, but that second lap might not be quicker. We talked about early mistakes ruining a lap. He's done it, and he's going to be pulling over.
Yeah, and let's get ourselves another look at that one then from Marcus Hamilton. We don't often show you replays in qualifying, but Rachel, this one is going to be kind of important because it is such a long lap, and you talked about tyre temps getting up in that second lap, and Marcus Hamilton just a four-wheel drift there down in towards that first corner, and well, that is going to cost him the lap, and you can see there, you don't want to be doing that. Turn one, lap one of your real money lap.
Yep, certainly, and well, not what he wanted to happen. He's going to have to settle for somewhere in possibly the top 10. Lap times, of course, will increase massively on that second lap, but of course, practice time standing mostly will involve the draft. This is solo qualifying, Will, so it's all about what you can pull out of the car. Hamilton knew his lap was over after that issue at turn one. As we said, though, 1 foot wrong anywhere, you drop a wheel off the track, it's thrown away. Could be your best lap ever.
But you can see at the time of him completing his first lap, Matthew Daniels was currently 2 tenths per second, almost 3 tenths behind Marcus Hamilton in that battle for pole position, working himself on the exit of the carousel. And here, just a little bit of wheel spin there as he works himself out that corner. Second round of times coming up on your board. Avery is up into 4th position, but we go back and have a look at Sebastian Job as he works himself down towards Canada corner. And Rachel, from here on in, every inch of the racetrack matters.
It does indeed, and Canada corner named so because if you go off, you're pretty much heading to Toronto. Yeah, this last section of corners is very difficult, Will. Lots of back and forth momentum. The car's on the limit of its grip, so really important you just knit this section together, running through that final corner, getting maximum drive up that hill to the start-finish line.
So as Job works himself out the final corner, you can see his last lap time was a fast one, 2:33.156. He's worked himself towards the start finish line. Will he be able to improve? Will he get himself pole position? He's worked himself past the stripe. You go back on board of him. The answer to that question is yes. Sebastian Job will go to pole position there, 2:32.984, inching out Marcus Hamilton with 2:33, and also Daniels going himself to the top of the styling sheet by 3/1000ths of a second, Rachel.
That is incredibly close at the top, Will. 3/1000ths. That is NASCAR Daytona sort of differences in lap times there. We don't normally see that on road courses, especially laps as long as this. It just shows these guys wringing everything they can out of these cars. Third place at the moment, Tom Ward, 33.064. Close but no cigar. I mean, these times are fast.
Yeah, and Ward, he didn't get himself into the 232s. Only 2 drivers have done that. They are Daniels and Sebastian Job. As qualifying is about to complete, you got yourself Marcus Hamilton off of the racetrack. Clark Williams working himself then down towards turn number 2, but he's completed his run. Richard Avery, though, Rachel, one driver who's still got himself half a lap to go. He might just make it back in time.
He might indeed. Of course, there's well, he will make it back in time because there's 15 minutes of qualifying, Will, and we're only 8 minutes in, which is quite long for 2 laps, but there you go. Richard Avery, he's currently sitting 7th with 33.322. Currently coming out the carousel, he's got the final sector, the run down to the kink. Surprisingly treacherous in this little car, Will. Of course, you get this bit wrong, you don't lift, you will be going wide into that grass, and that's lap over. Gets it cleanly, right on the curb, he's exiting down, running down to Canada corner, up to Billy Mitchell bend, round the final corner, and he will be away. We'll see what he can do.
Yeah, they can see Richard Avery then heading himself down towards Canada corner, as you can see there, coming down in that friction racing machine out of Canada corner now, all 4 wheels on that curve as he works himself down into Bill Mitchell bend. Just 2 corners left to go now. The gap between himself and the race leader is 3/10 of a second. Avery looking to get himself towards the front of the field. Currently scored in P number 7. That's the inside of row number 4 as he works himself out the final corner. Good exit then out that final corner as he works himself up the hill underneath the Caterpillar Bridge to get himself another lap timed in the books. And for Richard Avery, it is going to be a time of 2 minutes and 30. Well, it doesn't look as though it's going to be a lap at all, Rachel.
No, it does not. I believe he might have dropped a wheel at some point, Will, and picked himself up a penalty, which of course invalidates that lap time. Unfortunate, because that looked fast.
Paul Grillo is on the lap. He's all the way down in P number 16 on the racetrack right now, trying to improve himself up in the grid. He's only got himself one more corner. He's got a plan to go very tight into that final corner as he now works himself up the hill down towards the start finish line as he works himself up the track. Will Grillo is getting himself up into the top 10, potentially up into the top 5. The answer to that question is going to be a 233.404. That is only going to be good enough for P number 10 on the racetracks. Paul Grillo is going to be struggling here in today's event. Ladies and gentlemen, qualifying is almost complete. We'll step aside for just one moment. We'll be back with more action after this.
The NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series powered by iRacing.com has officially begun. It's all in control of Brad Davies in that 11 machine. Green flag flies. He's damn near banged up though. Now the 93 is going to push the 4 of Brian Day all the way up the wall. 4 wide down the super stretch going into turn 2. And now the 93, 39, the 3 machine goes around. Big trouble in the back. It's going to be the race to the win up front.
Look behind him. They're 3 and 4 wide, trying to make a push to the front as the field gains speed in turn number 1. Kenny Humphrey, if he can rip it back to the start-finish line, will win here at Daytona.
7 laps to go.
Oh,
As you love it.
Davies, here we go.
You love it. The 1 gets around. The 5 gets around. Big jump.
Swimming in the ocean, causing a commotion, cause they are so awesome. Narwhals swimming in the ocean, pretty big and pretty wide, and making the blue. This commercial is brought to you by Sprint, proud sponsor of the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. Not on RaceSpotTV. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back with the grid and the starting order for the Skip Barber to Club UK Island Championship here on RaceSpotTV in just 1 moment's time. You're watching RaceSpotTV, home of the 2015 iRacing.com World Championship Grand Prix Series. And it does look as though that finally qualifying is complete, and that gives us the opportunity to run through your starting grid. And starting on pole position is going to be the driver of Matthew Daniels. There you can see it, 232.981. Sebastian drove alongside him. Tom Watt in third, and Marcus Hamilton on the outside of row number 2. Darren Povey in 5th, Clark Williams in 6th, Richard Avery in 7th, Mark Mercer in 8th, Rob Kane in, Roderick Zavinovic in 9th, Paul Grillo running at your top 10. Rachel, very big field here today.
Well, big is an understatement. Well, we have 52 cars registered for this session. That is a lot. If every one of them starts, this will be one of the biggest fields we've ever seen.
You can see that. We'll just cycle through that grid one more time for you as the cars are lining themselves up on the starting grid for tonight's event. There you can see your pole position driver, Matthew Daniels, who will be the first driver as those cars head themselves down into that very scary turn number 1. Last lot of the cars then head themselves down to that starting grid for tonight's event here today on RaceSpotTV. We will go racing here today at Road America, the track that measures exactly 4 miles in length. Those engines in just a couple of moments time will get themselves revving as we go set for racing. And back end of the season, here you can see then your field. They are all lined up on that starting grid right now. Any moment now, they'll get those engines revving. They'll get themselves ready to rip here on RaceSpotTV for another classic Monday night race. And of course, any of you who watched Saturday night's coverage of the Skip Barber 2K World Cup saw how close it was. Expect something just a little bit closer here tonight in the Club UK Island Series. 10 laps at Road America about to get underway. Those engines are revving, and this round of the championship will start right now. Good start there by Matthew Daniels. A very good start though. Driving second position, and we've got a slow car in the rear of the field, but looks like everyone is going to get themselves at least down towards turn number 1. You can see the field in the mid-pack are fouling themselves 3, 4 wide already as they come down into that first corner for the first time. Everyone's going to try and find a way through turn number 1 for the first time. Looks as though that we are going to have ourselves, well, a very, very close battling in midfield, Rachel, but a little bit of contact to the rear, 1 car off. Everyone else has got themselves through without too much of an issue.
Yeah, and that car off is Mark O'Connell, well, number 94. He was the car that stalled in that grid, and that was a massive bottleneck with traffic streaming around the outside of him. More contact in turn 2 with the car upside down. Gonna try and work out who that is for you.
In the interim, however, Matthew Daniels is leading your way right now as far as tonight's event goes. Our live channel scoring is playing up just a little bit, so you are going to have to bear with us for just 1 second. But it is Daniels who is leading the way right now. And Tom Ward in that second place is going to look down to the inside, 2 wide, 2 deep as they come to turn 6, Rachel.
They are indeed, Will, and that was just pointing out the incident we just had was Jonas van Verke going straight in the back of Graham Forrest, Will. Turn 5 is a tough corner there. These guys having to filter this very dense traffic through, getting through now to the hurry downs. And the pack seems to be starting to single file out. We have some battles 2 wide at the front and the very rear. Bit more contact down at the entrance to the carousel. We've got cars off, Will, at least 2 in the hurries downs.
Yep.
One of those is the number 42 there of Ross McWilliam.
Yep, so have a look then at the number 42 machine. As you can see, he is off and out of today's event here, as it's going to be an unfortunate end to the start of his race here at Road America. He's going to get ourselves a back look at that incident once again as he works himself up through turn number 6, the Corvette Bridge. Right underneath, you can see there 3 wide just ahead of him, all trying to fight for position. And then just ahead of him, the car's just starting to make a little bit of contact as he works himself down into turn number 7, the hurry down section of the racetrack. Car ahead of him, that's one of the Club 100 cars, the number 100 machine, getting himself turned around there. That Club 100 car is out of the race, as is that driver of Ross McGurn, as he is classified as out of the race for the time being. The other driver involved now, as I say, was the number 100 car. Out front, however, it is that driver of Matthew Daniels, who is still leading the way for the time being, at the very least. As you can see, Makeup is on pit road as well. We've got a couple of drivers then all on pit road at exactly the same time, but Sebastian Job right on the rear. Matthew Daniels to come down towards that first corner and to the race lead, Rachel.
He does indeed. Well, that's going to be a very tenuous lead there, of course. We know he won't be holding that for long. Job just getting through there, but these guys aren't going to be dropped too easily, of course. He's got Daniels, Ward, Hamilton and Povey right on him. Povey currently leading that second pack, which are only a tenth or two behind Will, and there's about 10 cars growling behind Job in there.
Yeah, they can see that Tom Ward's been able to get himself now ahead of Matthew Daniels. He is up into that second position, the gap between himself and the race leader. Well, it's not much at all, only 2 tenths of a second. They're side by side behind him as well, as they can see. We've got ourselves Marcus Hamilton, going to take 1, going to take 2, going to take 3, down into turn number 5. Marcus Hamilton looking for the race lead there, down in turn 5, making contact. We've got 2 incidents at the same time. We've got ourselves a number 64 car. Marcus Hamilton turned around, a big wreck simultaneously, Rachel. 1 o'clock 100 machines around, but Marcus Hamilton, after going for the race lead, is going to be classified right at the very, very rear of the field.
He is indeed, and that was Povey getting into the back of Savidovic there. Looked like a racing deal to me, but several incidents going on at once. Well, we have a number of cars out there. Hamilton, Povey, Savidovic, and I believe we might have lost Mercer on top of that.
As you can see, Marcus Hamilton, he looks down to the inside. As we look on replay then, as you see side by side with Joy, coming in down into turn number 5. Grillo is going to be classified as out of the race, getting ourselves a replay with that battle up front. As you see, Marcus Hamilton now down in the 45th position, making a little bit of contact there. Sebastian Job, as on the exit of the corner, the 2 lock wheels. Looks as though that Marcus Hamilton just pushed wide the number 20 car, simultaneously going off all by himself there, involved in an incident. That was Mark Mercer. There you can see him upside down and around through turn number 5. And Rachel, well, sometimes it's like a London bus. You get one incident and they all happen at exactly the same time.
Well, we were somewhat robbed of the big one at Daytona this weekend, Will, but these guys didn't want to disappoint. We got one early here, of course, on lap 2. Very big contact there, wiping out major players at the lead of this race. We've lost at least 5, 6 cars there that could have challenged for this win. And as it stands, Daniels, Job and Ward have made a clean getaway. They are a couple of seconds up the road right now from, well, Clark Williams, who was back in 7th place, now 4th.
Yeah, right now it is a 3-horse battle out front. As you can see, down to the race lead, it will be Matthew Daniels getting that position away to work ourselves onto that number 3 over Tom Ward. Gap between those 2 drivers, well, it's pretty much nothing right now. Sebastian Job working himself in that 3rd position, but the important thing, Rachel, is that gap between Sebastian Job, who's actually going down to the inside of Tom Ward, battle for P number 2 and 3, getting himself past. Now Ward has got himself an advantage of 2.4 seconds of Roderick Savidovic on that number 80 car as Ward comes back over Job.
He does indeed, and Savidovic, of course, involved in that big wreck in the run down to turn 5, which we're once again approaching there. Avery and Savidovic running side by side. They might slow each other down, but we know if anyone can get back to the front, it's them. Let's not forget it was actually Savidovic who won last time round, Will, here at Road America. He knows how to get the job done. He will be working with them rather than against them to try and catch up to that lead pack and stop them running away with this.
Does he know how to get the job done or the Job done?
Getting the job done.
There we are. As you can see there, Daniels and
Hashtag.
Ward just a couple of tenths of a second away from each other to hurt himself down into the hurry down section once again. Just to have a look behind very quickly, you can see there, please have a close battle in your midfield right now. This is the battle. Well, it's a bit of a true train going on here, Rachel. Raheem Atanides in that 14th position, catching up to the rear of Scott Michaels. But Michaels, Atanides, Barrington, Newman, Michaels, Superman, all mighty close on the racetrack right now.
Yes, they are indeed, and of course, Raheem Atanides has been pretty quiet recently. We've not seen much of him in the last few races, but he's missing the very tip. Oh, no, that's the paint job. He's actually got the tip on his nose cone there. Didn't think he did, but Atanides, he's currently sitting 12th, Will. He could make some places here, but he's going to have to be a bit more careful and gain some more speed here. Cars spread out ahead of him in the, well, top half of the top 10, so it's going to be a game of working with us around him. Hopefully him and Scott Michaels can tag together and just run up some positions, and himself and that Radicals Online car can move forwards through this pack.
They've got Zubaran there, having to lift off the gas as he's trying to work himself past Pete Newman. Battle for positions, they work themselves down into Canada corner, going to go 3 wide and Subaru on that ultra inside line, not able to make that move past. Now you can go free wide into Canada, Rachel, and what that showed there, that ultra inside line does not necessarily work.
No, it does not, and you can scrub a lot of speed taking that line, Will. You want to run it a bit deeper and a bit wider, run out later onto the exit curbs, and you can keep more momentum going through the corner. Momentum very important in a Skip Barber race car, and whilst you might be able to make a pass in the initial part of the corner, you'll probably lose it on exit.
And you can see Sam Michaels working on board of him right now as he's working himself up a position, trying to get himself up into the 14th position right now. Working himself the number 58 car. They're going to go free wide down towards turn number 1 as well. As you can see, that car in the middle going to have that advantage as they come down in towards turn number 1. It's going to be Subaru working himself around the outside, but it goes wide down at turn number 1. That's going to push himself right across the racetrack, and he's going to take a car upside down as well there. And we know turn number 1 is such a difficult moment for drivers, Rachel, but Subaru is classified as out of the race.
He is indeed, second race in a row. Subaru trying to control that drift. Car getting some wobble and lock, and he just comes back across the track. Don't think there's much he could do there, but he will pick up. I believe that is the number 14 car there of Alan Patterson, series director. Unfortunate incident there for him, and I just really don't need to see that sort of thing happening. Just getting too excited into turn 1, Will.
Yeah, they can see him there coming down in towards turn number 1. And he slides that car. The thing is, Rachel, we saw this on Saturday night as well, that once you're sideways, it's very difficult to get yourself straightened up and slowed down. Subaru, involved in an incident, is now classified as out of the race. And the grass and the tarmac here, it's oh so difficult for these drivers to deal with. And looks like Subaru is our first big victim of it in today's event.
He is, and once his car gets onto the grass, well, it's all over the place. You saw the car wiggle back and forth. He was going opposite lock to opposite lock, trying to control that drift, and once the car just bit in one direction, it was going off in the other. So unfortunate situation there, and Patterson just really the wrong place at the wrong time. Not what he wanted to happen. And just looking back up front again, we have a change for lead, and well, inside of one lap, Tom Ward's gone to the back of that 3, Daniel's still in the middle, and Job to the point. Although we did just say that inside line at Canada Corner isn't optimal, but Job makes it work. He gets the job done. I'm going to keep overusing that one because it sounds good.
Yeah, no pun intended there, but the gap between Sebastian Job and Tom Ward is just a couple of tenths of a second right now. Job is officially classified as your race leader. We'll get the time, the differential, as they work themselves towards start finish line. They can see the straight line speed as they come down towards turn number 1 as well. And of course, Ward will have the O speed, and Job going defensive already. Ward is going to have to go around the outside to come down into that first corner, Rachel. And look at that! Ward all the way down to the inside. And they're going to go free wide once again, almost there, down into that first corner. And I don't think that Job was ready for that one. 2 positions potentially lost in just 1 corner.
He is indeed, and Savidovic back into the fray. Will those guys having been fighting meant that second pack has caught up now. So rather than it being a 3-car pack, we now have 7 cars fighting for this lead, and well, it could stay that way right till the line.
Yeah, we're going to get ourselves to the halfway point this time, guys. We're running ourselves on board, and Matthew Daniels free wide. Has worked himself down to the back straight away. There you can see Roderick Savidovic just getting himself ahead there with that number 41 car. Matthew Daniels has worked himself down in towards turn number 5. Once again, you can see this, he just worked himself behind the trees. They are technically free wide to go back to 2 wide, 2 deep into turn number 5. And Rachel, this is what we know about Monday nights. It is all about close quarter racing. This is some of the craziest action we have all week long.
Absolutely, and we saw crazy action last time here at Road America. Of course, we had a 4-way finish, and any one of those guys could have won it out of that final corner. Will, it was super exciting. And well, after a more quiet and processional somewhat race we had on Saturday night, this one has been wild from the drop of that green flag. We expected little else.
Yeah, Martin Yudes has had himself an incident. We see there on the, he just gets himself onto the bump, gets himself turned around there, and hits the number 04 car of Scott Michaels. Scott Michaels goes past, but Fahim Atinides is now classified as well down the field as he struggles to try and get that car back onto the racetrack. So another victim here today in that number 8 machine. There you can see him getting himself slowly back onto the racetrack in the number 8 car, Rachel. And Atinides, again, good start to his season. Struggles in the middle part. He does get better in the final couple of rounds of the championship, like.
He does indeed, and well, contact there, of course, with that Radicals online car, Will, but like I said, he's had a quiet start to the season. He does seem to get a bit better later on in the season, but again, that's suffering for points. He really wants to get those points early and help himself build some momentum in the championship. He's got a lot of pace, and I have the utmost respect for him as a driver, but he just ends up in some bad situations, makes some little mistakes, and it costs him positions where he really deserves to be higher.
There you can see Sam Michaels, Tim Adcock, Liam Matthews battling for position for P21, 22, 23 on the racetrack. As we're looking look on board the driver in P23 right now, that is Paul Thurston, who just got himself passed there by Sam Michaels, a driver with no front wing on his car, Rachel, but he's still ploughing along right now onto the rear of Liam Matthews as they come back down to that first corner.
They do indeed, and Matthews having a good run there, but it's just going to be a case of follow the leader to an extent. Well, just looking behind them though, we've got a bit of a train building being led by Adam Atherton in that number 34 Samsung machine. He's being followed by Adrian Bidwell and Paul Grillo. Having recovered from that early race incident, Grillo is on the tail of those two. They are going to catch the other pack in the next couple of laps, I think.
Yeah, as we had a car off on the racetrack right about there. That was down in the pack, as you can see. Sam Michaels, Paul Thurston battling for positions, and it was Paul Thurston who winks off, and Grillo is off of the racetrack once again. So Grillo not having the day he would have wanted, Rachel. He is off, and he is well down the field right now in P number 29 on the racetrack.
He is indeed, and nearly had contact there between Atherton and Marshall, but Grillo coming back at them. They're going to go 3 wide, running down to turn 4. Well, this is exciting stuff. Yeah, Grillo running wide at turn 1's gravel trap, which has seen claim many cars. Grillo feeding it through the middle of those two guys. The overspeed he carries is just incredible. Threading through that traffic like a needle. Grillo will have that optimal line into turn 5. Atherton's having a look, but he won't quite. He'll just step out of that one, and, you know, discretion, the better part of valor in his situation. Following that very fast car of Grillo, though, could be of benefit. Grillo qualified in the top 10 after struggling in qualifying here, Will. He's fighting his way back slowly from 29th place. Going to be a poor result for him today.
He's only up 2 positions from where he started today. You can see the graphic on your screen. Paul Grillo not having the race he would have wanted to have had here today in the Skip Barber Club UK Ireland Championship on RaceSpotTV. Just ahead, by the way, you have got yourself a continuing battle between Tim Adcock and Sam Michaels as they work themselves side by side out of the carousel down towards the kink once again. Battle for the race lead, Rachel, though. He's only a couple of attempts per second as Michaels going to look to the outside. They try and do the cross under as they work themselves down into Canada.
Yes, he will, and Michaels having a great run there. That's just a tough section of racetrack, Will. One where you will see more of the passes due to it being a slightly slower corner there. That Friction Racing Machine, Radicals Online, I apologise, is getting right out of that exit final corner very, very well. Big run now. Hopefully he can try and catch on to this train ahead of him with Adcock, Brennan and Burnett.
Yep, so we are past the halfway distance now of tonight's event here on RaceSpotTV. Out front, it is Roderick Zavidovic leading from Tom Ward, from Matthew Daniels to Sebastian Joe, from Richard Avery, Rafael Jasquez, and the top 6 drivers, Rachel, are separated by less than 2 seconds.
They are indeed, and this has been a very close field, Will. Of course, pole time for qualifying was a 32.9, and our slowest lap was a 35.6. That's 52 cars within just about 2 to 3 seconds of each other on the racetrack, which is incredibly rapid. We have a big 3-wide situation, of course, Will, for the lead. Oh, wow, Ward getting through there. Savidovic not far behind him, and Job's still trying to stay in that second position. And Michael Daniels is actually going to try and follow him through. Nope, Savidovic will pick up that position. This is, well, again, like last time round, I don't know who's going to win out of this pack.
We have no off flag, so we're going to step aside for just 40 seconds, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back after this. unlike Fox, you don't miss a thing. Here on RaceSpotTV, we have a side-by-side button that works perfectly. So you can see Savinovic going to go 3 wide, down towards turn number 5, Rachel. Any one of these top 7 drivers could still be a winner. This is incredible stuff.
Yeah, the UK and I skip Barber Series races when they're on tracks like Road America, which are the restricted placed road courses practically. It's exactly the same. You just can't tell who out of that final pack will have the momentum at the end. And currently that happens to just be, well, Tom Ward. Savinovic is very strong. He's come from quite far back, qualifying 9th. He's really challenging for this lead now. And he won last time. Well, money's got to be on him for putting himself in the right place.
Yeah, they can see the gap out front. He's a third of a second. The gap behind is just under 3 tenths of a second right now. Savinovic worked himself. There'll be 2 laps to go. Next time to come past the start-finish line. And Rachel, this is really one that can come down with about 7 drivers without any real issues at all behind them. It has settled down just a little bit.
It has indeed, and remember last time we saw at least 2-3 wide, 2-3 rows deep for the final lap at the front pack. So it could be anybody. Most of the pack is settled down into single cars or pairs or triples, as everyone's been separated out by speed so far. I think one of the biggest ones I've got at the moment is actually Tim Adcock leading a train of 4-wheel with James Child, Liam Matthews and Sam Michaels there in a foursome going through the carousel right now. Grillo, of course, he's got back to the head of his little train. He's pulling away slightly, but not enough. Catching some single cars ahead of him. He could advance that position, but qualifying 10th, he's down in 26th. He won't be able to make up much for this race. And further down, mostly single cars, everyone just trying to string it along. A lot of damage recovery strategies going on where people trying to score whatever points they can, Will.
Yeah, Savinovic will go to the point then in that number 18 machine. They work themselves past the start-finish line. 2 laps to go. This time by is Savinovic from the car for Ward, then Job, then Avery. So they work themselves past the start-finish line. They're going to go 3 wide once again, Rachel. And for Savinovic, well, the inside line is not going to work. He's going to have to make sure he doesn't lose too much time from now on in, however. It's about setting himself up for that final corner. Anyone who watched Saturday night will know that final corner is critically important.
It is indeed, and Ward running wide there in turn 1 that's claimed so many victims. We've got a 3-4 deep pack here, Will. This is getting exciting. Savinovic right to the front there. Job just sticking with him, but 2 wide behind him there as Ward does not want to give up. Michael's holding on the inside. The train is settling down a little bit. They're going to try and find the speed to get a run down in turn 5. But the position they go into this lap will certainly not be the final one as Job goes for the lead.
Yeah, Sebastian Job then going back to the point there. You can see Savinovic going to go 3 wide for just a moment. He will settle down for that 3rd position for the time being as they come down in towards turn number 5. Working themselves out of 5. It will be Ward from Job, then Savinovic, then Avery, then Daniels. A lap and a half to go, and you can see Job look on the inside there, on the inside into the next corner, Rachel. Job is aggressive right now. He goes to the point, but he is a sitting duck.
He is. I think he's hoping he can make a little gap there, Will, whilst the others battle for positions. But that's not going to be allowed to happen, I think. Ward following closely behind him. Savinovic not giving up yet. Of course, we could see a pass going into Canada corner. And, well, who knows what's going to happen now to Bill Mitchell or the final corner. Yeah,
they can see then we're right on board with Richard Avery in that number 5 machine. He works himself then down in towards the Canada corner once again. And Avery from nowhere is in this race, Rachel. He only has himself a lap and a couple of corners to go, but Richard Avery still has a shot at the race win. He is only, get this, 1.2 seconds behind your leader.
He is indeed, and if anything to go wrong, he could be in a very good position. But Ward dancing to the inside there. Savinovic trying for a massive run up to Bill Mitchell bend. This is going to be it now. This is for the win, Will. He's coming through the corner now. They're a single position, and guess who's in the catbird seat? It's Savinovic. He's going to be in our 2nd position, which will give him that draft effect up to the start-finish line. We know from last time round that Ward could get alongside him. If Savinovic can get that good exit, he might have the chance here.
Up the hill they come. Tom Ward with a 3.5 times of a second advantage over Roderick Savinovic. The white flags in hand. 1 more lap to go here at Road America. That gap has closed down to just over 1 second. Savinovic, will he look to the outside immediately? The answer to that question is going to be yes, he will. Battle for the race lead then. Tom Ward down into 2nd position. Savinovic on the outside is going to sweep around him. 2 wide, 2 deep into turn number 1. And Rachel from here on in, It's going to be the driver who makes the least mistakes. Running on board Richard Avery. Well, he's just going to hope that these drivers in turn 5 make a mess of it.
Oh, he absolutely is right now, but he might be a little too close to avoid it, Will. He's falling right to the back now. He's going to be taking out 4th position there off from Matthew Daniels. Avery going to be coming up behind his teammate now, Tom Ward. Bit of team tactics might happen here, or he could just dump him for dry and disappear. But Savinovich leading the front. There's still 3 wide. Who knows where anyone's going to go? 3 deep in the braking zone. Through they go. Savinovich inside. Ward wide. Ward nearly loops it. Losing big positions, including to his teammate there. He will be back to 4th position from the lead. That is not what he wanted, and Daniels cannot make that pass stick. 2 teammates nose to tail, and Savinovich is making a break for it.
Savinovich has a half a second advantage over Sebastian Job as we work themselves down to the hoedown for the final time behind. Tom Ward, Richard Avery are nose to tail as they work themselves down on the exit of the hoedown down towards the carousel for the final time. There you can see then Sebastian Job trying to eke that gap in that battle for the race lead. The gap right now is about 4 tenths per second. Out of the carousel they come. That run down into the kink, then into Canada corner for the final time. We know this racetrack can be won or lost on the final corner. If you're Sebastian Job, he will come down all the way to that final corner. He's down to just 2 tenths of a second. He will look to the outside. We've got a car off the racetrack. We're going to stack ourselves up 2 wide, multiple lanes deep into that final corner, potentially, because here you can see Roderick Savinovich down into Canada corner for the final time. 2 wide behind him. You can see Clark Williams and Draskas, but Roderick Savinovich down to Bill Mitchell Bend for the final time. Sebastian Job behind him. Does Job have anything as they work themselves up the hill to that final corner? It could be a photo finish. Ladies and gentlemen, see your photo finish coming, because here we come. It's going to be Savinovich, Job to the start finish line. The winner here at Road America is going to be Roderick Savinovich by a hair. And so it's going to be Job. Job almost edges him out.
Savinovich takes it by a hair's breadth, Will. That was possibly closer than last time's finish. Oh my days, that was an exciting race finish. If that start finish line had been a foot further up the racetrack, that would have been Savinovich, Job's win. They were literally a wing apart.
Well,
wow.
The cars are working themselves towards the start finish line. You can see there your mid-pack. We'll show you your top 10, ladies and gentlemen. Here it is. 33 1,000ths of a second. Roderick Savinovich claiming victory. Sebastian Job, and well, at the end it was 4 tenths of a second between Job and Ward Rachel. But Job, that's half a car length, if that.
It was closer than that, Will. It was about the width of a front wing. That was 9 1,000ths of a second, which is essentially nothing. No one could even count that low. They were so close. What a finish. These guys do not disappoint.
We are then looking on board with Roderick Savinovich as he works himself towards the start finish line. We will slow it down as you can see that driver of Sebastian Job getting alongside right about now as they head themselves towards the start finish line. And well, we talked about how it's close. It was that close. You can see there down towards the start finish line. It was about a couple of moments, and that was literally about it there. Savinovich by a tire length away, being continued to take himself victory here today at Road America. One of the closest finishes we have seen all time, Rachel.
Well, we thought last time was close, Will. They've just taken it up a notch. That was an exciting finish. I thought Savinovich had the gap there to just make it to the line before Seb, but as soon as you were saying it's Savinovich, Seb pulled out and away he went, and that draft was so close. I think it might have been close enough from the wing. It was nose cone distances apart. If Seb had done an athletics and actually put a little bit of extra finger pointer on the end of his car nose, he might have made that. That photo finish doesn't describe it. We need super high speed cameras for that sort of thing.
Timing and scoring has updated itself. It is just 9 1,000ths of a second between Savinovich and Job. Ward in 3rd place, Avery in 4th, Daniels in 5th, Clark Williams in 6th, Raphael Draskas in 7th, Stuart Adcock in 8th, James Barrington in 9th, and David Burnett running out your top 10. They can see the rest of the results coming up on your screen. We'll be back in just one moment, ladies and gentlemen, for post-race coverage here on RaceSpotTV as the closest finish in the history of the Club UK Ireland Skip Barber Racing School Series means that Roderick Savinovic heads himself once again back to victory lane. We'll be back in just one quick moment's time.
Simulated racing can be awesome, but it can also be kind of a free-for-all. Interestingly, auto racing faced the same problem in its earlier days. Whether it was on the back roads, the beaches, or the city streets, the racing was fun. But there was always a certain level of chaos and danger, until some folks came along and put some order to all of this. Stuff like official racetracks, regulations about weight and equipment, and enforcement of standards. That's what gave us high-speed excitement, fast-paced action, and photo finishes. That's when racing became racing. The guys over at iRacing.com have made the same transformation in the world of sim racing. Sure, they've got the most accurate tracks and realistic cars out there, but that's just the start. See, iRacing analyzes the performance and results of each driver in every race, so you can be sure you're always placed in races where the competition will be tight, and that those reckless drivers who ruin it for us all are kept in the pits. Not to mention that with over 45,000 active members already in their vast community, you can find races day and night, so you can always get in on the action. You can even join a league of your favorite series. And since updates are always automatic, you don't have to worry about software and can focus on the track. Zip up your fire suit and check out iRacing.com.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to post-race coverage here from the Club UK Ireland Skip Barber Racing School Championship, where just 9 1,000ths of a second was the difference between victory and second place. Rachel Whiteford is stood by with Matthew Daniels as he didn't get himself to victory lane but still had a very strong finish.
Hi, Will. Yes, I'm here with Matthew Daniels in pit lane. Matthew Daniels, who came home today in 5th position. Of course, he qualified on the pole with an amazing lap time, but tell us about your race and the excitement of this fast race course.
Yeah, it was a very, very exciting race. It would have been nice to finish a bit higher given my starters on pole. I was hoping to, the three of us that managed to put a bit of a gap early on, I was hoping we'd pull away and we'd just battle for the top 3 positions. As it is, the guys behind were able to catch up and they were able to join the battle, and I fell behind a couple of more positions, and yeah, 5th place. Still, can't complain. Pretty good finish overall.
Well, 5th position in a field of 52 cars is certainly nothing to sniff at. And one final question before we let you go, Matthew. Turn 5, lap 2. Did you require a stop for new underwear?
Not quite.
Well, I think you're still fluttered from that one, Will. Back to you.
Yeah, we can see there's just a rear incident there of an incident going on lap 2 with Matthew Daniels involved in that one. As you can see there, drivers spinning around, a multi-car incident. And Rachel, all things considered, we had ourselves 54 drivers starts here at Road America, 52 drivers even. Most of them finished.
They did indeed, and that's a hell of an achievement. This is the biggest field we've seen in this series yet, Will, and it was incredible. We had a few cars finish a couple of laps down, and I think in total 42 cars finished. No, I am incorrect. 44 cars out of 52 finish. That is one hell of an achievement and a testament to the racing series. What amazing racing we get every week.
Today's broadcast is brought to you by Aflac. Aflac, teaching you what not to do when you need to go to commercial. Aflac. Also brought to you in part by And1 Design, and finally by iRaceForLife.org. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been a Club UK Ireland Skip Barber Racing School presentation here on RaceSpotTV. We'll be back next race here Monday nights, because Monday nights are indeed Skippy night. This has been a RaceSpotTV presentation for myself, Paul Vincent, Rachel Whiteford. We will talk to you all next time.